What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way, Season 5, Episode 14, Be Hitched. Let's get started with Brandon and Mary. So when we see Brandon and Mary, Mary's having a conversation with her Lola, her grandmother. Mary tells us that she did finally confide in her grandparents that she is pregnant. Her grandmother, she says, is very supportive. She's obviously disappointed because she wanted Mary to wait until she got married before having a child. But she says, for now, her grandmother, is supporting her. So Mary also tells us that the fighting between her and Brandon has gotten even worse after the proposal. Her main issue with Brandon is that he doesn't help around the house enough. She's pregnant, and it seems like he's doing less and less to help her in the home with the chores, the cooking, the cleaning, everything else. Even at the store that they started or that they are running, the little snack store, she says that she's the one that is primarily working there. So he has been completely MIA. She says he sleeps in too much, he plays too many video games, watches too much TV, and doesn't do enough of helping her, which he should be doing because now she's actually pregnant. So they show us a clip of her when she recorded Brandon. He was on, it looked like he was watching YouTube, and she was telling him to put down the volume on the television. And she's telling him, can you please put down the volume? He's not listening to her. In fact, he's telling her, can you come talk to me? Can you come effing talk to me? So I don't know what was going on. Of course, we didn't see the beginning of it, but it doesn't even matter what the beginning of it was. I just don't like it when people who are in a relationship, are in an argument or a disagreement, and they start using cuss words or cussing each other out because he's telling her, can you just please effing come talk to me? Can you effing talk to me? Or whatever he was saying. And so, okay, that's an example of how things have gotten worse between them. So all of a sudden now we see Brandon, he's in some random park and he's laying on a bench, and the producers are walking up to him and they're like, what's going on? And he says that whenever him and Mary get into an argument, he decides to just walk off, to kind of clear his head and to de-escalate the situation. And Mary doesn't like it whenever he wanders off by himself because the people in the neighborhood, they see this, they start talking, rumors start, and because everybody knows that the white kid is with Mary, and what is he doing walking around by himself? Are they having a problem? Are they breaking up? Is he walking around to go see somebody else? So the rumors start around the neighborhood. So the grandfather is upset with the pregnancy and the fighting, and Mary and her grandmother are talking about this, and her grandmother encourages her to go talk to her grandfather about the situation with Brandon. So Brandon and Mary, they're together. They go to the grandfather, and they told the grandfather that they want to have a conversation with him. So Brandon starts off with apologizing. He says, I'm really sorry for all of the fighting that's been going on. I'm disrespecting your home, etc. Mary asks her grandfather, are you okay with what he's saying? And the grandfather says, excuse me, the grandfather says, how can I be okay with it? He's treating you like this and you're pregnant, and this is not good for the baby. How can I be okay with this? So the grandfather is also upset because the neighbors are talking about them. I mean, Mary mentions the neighbors talking, the grandfather mentions the neighbors talking. So these neighbors must be talking real heavy about what's going on in Mary and Brandon's house. So the grandfather says it's kind of embarrassing because everybody can hear them arguing. They are, yelling and screaming at each other. The whole neighborhood hears it, and it's very embarrassing for the grandparents. So the grandfather says that he doesn't like it whenever Brandon just walks away from Mary. He doesn't like that. He wants them, I guess, to try to solve whatever issues that they're having. But if it's to de-escalate and to stop the arguing, I don't see a problem with Brandon walking away. So Mary said, this is the way I see it. Okay, this is the way I see it. So I think that Brandon, if he knows that engaging in this behavior is not good for him and Mary, it's not good for the grandparents, then he just needs to do better. And I understand it's so hard to do the right thing, especially when your emotions are really high and y'all are going back and forth and everybody has to have the last word and everybody's trying to make a point when you're arguing. But sometimes it's just better to just be like, okay, fine, I'll help out. I'll do more. I'll wash more dishes. I'll get up at a reasonable hour, you know. But instead, Brandon says, well, I just can't change overnight, or I just can't change in a minute. Because Mary was looking at him like, if you know what you need to do, if you know what the right thing is, just do it. I'm pretty sure Mary doesn't like having to do all the chores, but the chores have to get done. And so she does them. She doesn't like it, but she does them. So Brandon, you might not like having to do all of these chores around the house. Nobody likes it. It just has to get done. So just do it. So Brandon says to her, do you just want me to leave then? If I'm making you so unhappy, you just want me to leave? And she's like, do you want to leave? Is that what you want to do? And so she's like, well, maybe you should leave. Maybe you should go. I don't know. But you know what? I've seen these kids recently online. I don't know what it was that I saw them on. There's rumors kind of like going around that she's probably pregnant with her second child. So whatever issues are having, they're either still having them and they're happy about it, or they solve them. But they're definitely not broken up in real time. And like I said, there's some speculation out there that she might be pregnant with her second child, but they can't say yay or nay, because on their social media, people have been they posted a picture of them together. Brandon was standing behind her, and either Brandon or Mary, or both of them, I don't remember, had like a heart. They were doing like this heart thing with their hands over her belly. So people in the comments were like, oh my God, are you pregnant again? Are you pregnant again? And of course, they're not going to answer because they're under contract with the show. But that's the rumor. That's the word on the curb. So I don't know. It might be nothing. It might have been a picture that they posted just to purposely mislead people. I have no idea. But Brandon and Mary are still together in real time. So these issues are kind of, moot, because they either worked them out or they're continuing arguing and they're okay with it. Moving on to Johan and Danielle. So Danielle and Johan, they're in the car and they're driving to go see a life coach. Danielle tells us that they were going through therapy because they're still having their communication problems. I don't think their problem is communication. I think their problems are they just don't like each other. I don't think it's a communication problem. I think they just don't like each other and they don't respect each other. But for whatever reason, they want to hold up this illusion that they're this, happy couple and everything is fine and they're just trying to work on their marriage. They just don't like each other. So she says that they used to go to an actual therapist, but Johan felt some kind of way about it. So now they're going to go see a life coach. Which to me, I'm like, what the hell is the difference? So, a therapist at least, is licensed and has the degrees and the education to back up what they're saying. A life coach could be, anybody off the street claiming that they're a life coach. So I don't know what the difference is. I don't know why a life coach is better. I know the difference, but I don't know why a life coach would be any better. So on their way to the life coach, they start arguing about finances. He says that Danielle is the kind of person that has to have everything her way. And he gives an example of how he had encouraged her to buy this piece of property and I guess renovate it or fix it up a little bit and then rent it out. And she says, you wanted me to spend $20,000 on a piece of property and then rent it out for $100 a month. That didn't make any sense to me, and that's why I didn't do it. And so she tells him, I'm thinking long term. You're always thinking short term. I'm thinking long term. And he says, I'm married to an American and I've got nothing to show for it. I have no house. I have no car. You can't even give me a baby naturally. And I'm like, oh my God. For him to say this, and he has said this before, when he was that other episode where he was working out with his cousin at the gym, and he tells his cousin, I'm married to an American, I've got nothing to show for it. That's harsh. That's extremely harsh because it makes him look like a gigolo. It makes him look like a gold digger. Because when he says, I'm married to an American and I've got nothing to show for it. And yes, Danielle had put up a front that she was doing better off financially than she actually was, because word on the curb with her was that she had to file for bankruptcy in New York. So, and I don't even know if Johan knows about that. So when he says that, it does make him look like he's just using her for money. And I don't know if how he's saying it is how we're receiving it, or if he's trying to say that I married a woman from America, so I expected life to be better for us. Or if he's really saying, look, I married an American woman and I'm supposed to have all of these material things because she's from America and she's supposed to be wealthy and ain't got nothing to show for it. I don't know exactly what he means, but the way it's coming off like he's a gigolo, like he's using her for her money. And I don't even know why she would even stay another minute with this man if he says things like that to her. And so, anyways, and the part where he says that, you can't even give me a baby naturally. I don't know how important it is for her to have a baby with Johan, but we know that it's really important for him to have a child. So I don't know if that really cuts deep to her when he says things like that. You can't even give me a baby naturally. Like you're even useless in the whole baby department. You can't even give me a child. I don't know if that hurts her the way I'm thinking it would hurt a woman that wanted to have a child with her husband, or if that really doesn't hurt her that much because she really doesn't even want to really care about having a baby with him. I don't know. But this marriage is it's done. It's a horrible marriage. They're not compatible at all. This is what happens when you try to take a summer fling or a little vacation romance and try to turn it into a whole marriage. Like, no, it doesn't work. It's just bad. Oh my God, it's so bad. So she calls him an a-hole, and she says that you don't deserve anything from me. Oh, then they talked about, I forgot exactly how the conversation went. Then they talked about, he's like, I pay for everything. I pay the rent. I pay for this. I pay for that. And she was like, he doesn't pay for everything. We go 50-50 on the rent. He gives me the cash for the rent, half of his portion for the rent in cash. I wire the money to the landlord, and then I spend his cash on other things. So he thinks that the cash that he gives me for the rent is taking care of everything in the household. And that's just not how it goes. Okay, why don't you explain that to him? Like, I don't understand how he doesn't know that. And so then she says, you don't deserve anything from me. She says, you don't deserve anything from me, including me speaking Spanish. So then after that, she just starts talking to him in English, and he doesn't even understand what she's saying. This marriage is bad. It's a horrible marriage. They need to just divorce and go their separate way. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I bet right now, if you Google Johan and Danielle, you'll probably see pictures of them all over the internet, happy. Going out, drinking, just having a grand old time together. I don't know what's going on with Johan and Danielle, but the things that he says to her, it seems like he's really over her. He is sick and tired of her. For him to say, I'm married to an American, ain't got nothing to show, you can't even give me a baby. Oh, child. I don't know how she puts up with it. I just don't understand. I don't get it. Moving on to, TJ and what's her name? Kimberly. Y'all, my mind is so scrambled over Johan and Danielle. TJ and Kimberly. So it's wedding day part 1 because, it's like, I don't know how many days they celebrate this, the days leading up to the actual wedding. So it's day 1. Kimberly wakes up in a bad mood because she had stomach issues and she pooped her pants. I don't know why she had to tell us this. So when she's there at the festivities, she's in a horrible mood. She has an upset stomach. She looks absolutely miserable. They tell her to smile. She's not having it at all. TJ comes to talk to her, and she tells him, I'm having a horrible morning. I had stomach issues. I'm not feeling good, etc., etc. He says whatever he says to her, and he at least makes her smile. He makes her laugh a little bit. TJ says in his confessional that sometimes Kimberly can be difficult. Sometimes? You mean like when she's breathing? Yeah. And he says, I don't know what's going to happen. And it's like he's walking on eggshells with her because he doesn't know when she's going to like flip on him and just go off. So he's like he has to be really delicate with her all the damn time. So Yash comes over to talk to her, and they have a conversation, and it seems like they have come to a truce. He apologizes for calling her stupid. She says, it really hurt my feelings when you called me stupid. He's like, yeah, I don't think you're stupid. And she says he apologized. I didn't hear him say I'm sorry, but I guess he did. She says he apologized, so she feels better now with where she stands with Yash. And it seems like they have turned a new page on their relationship and they're starting over. Thank God. God, because these two people might actually really get along really well. You know what I mean? If they just gave their relationship a chance. Now it's time for the Anjali ceremony, which is like the bridal shower, and where people just give her gifts. And so they just shower her with a whole bunch of gifts. They take pictures with her and her presents. And there was a moment when they wanted her to sit on her mother-in-law's lap and take a picture, because this is supposed to symbolize how the mother-in-law sees her as her daughter, and they're creating this mother-daughter relationship. And Kimberly respectfully declined. She's like, no, I'm not going to sit on my mother-in-law's lap. Then they have the Sanjeet ceremony, which was like the dance ceremony where you get up on stage and, you know, you do a little cute dance or whatever. And I was proud of Kimberly for being a good sport and getting up there and dancing. And I know that it must have been really uncomfortable for her, but she got up there and she did her thing. And I was really proud of her. I'm going to give credit where credit is due. I was proud of her for sitting up there. I was proud of her for going through the motions or going through the process of the ceremonies, the different ceremonies. She did what she was supposed to do. She could have smiled a little bit more, but, you know, we can't, you know, expect too much from her, you know, baby steps with Kimberly. But other than that, I was really proud of her that she did everything that she was supposed to do. Moving on from there, we have Wayne and Holly. So it is the next morning after their wedding. And because didn't she tell us that she was Mormon? So that would explain why they waited until they got married to be intimate. So they got intimate on their wedding night. It's the morning after. He wants to know how he did. And, you know, she's really shy about talking about it. I don't know if she was shy because she didn't want to hurt his feelings, or if she was shy because she's Mormon and they just don't talk about things like that in public. I didn't understand which way we were going with that. But she didn't want to talk about it. She was covering her face and giggling like a little girl. Is she on something, y'all? What's her name? Holly? Is she on something? Sometimes her demeanor is kind of off. I'm gonna just leave that right there. So, Holly says, you know, that she was satisfied. I take it back. She was satisfied, because she said that he's definitely not vanilla. She said that he's kinky. He likes bondage. She says that it was a-okay with her. Then they talk about her mom, because her mom's about to leave and she's really worried about being home by herself. And so, you know, he's telling her, you're going to be fine. Everything is going to be okay. And I'm wondering if she's going to try to convince him to have her mother stay longer, or just, you know, I know she can't live with them, but maybe stay a little bit longer because, you know, of the whole crime situation in their neighborhood, his house being broken into several times. She just feels a little bit apprehensive staying home by herself when he goes to work. So the marriage of Count Dracula and his wife went really well. Their first night together went extremely well. He had her all tied up in that coffin, I'm pretty sure. So Wayne and Holly for now are good. Until they start talking about finances again. Johan and Danielle, oh my God, they are vicious with each other. They are very, very vicious with each other. She disrespects him, emasculates him. He disrespects her. He said, I'm married to an American woman. Ain't got nothing to show for it. Oh, Lord have mercy. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.